Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kenji's world. Welcome. How are you? I'm doing fine. How are you? I hope you're doing great. Those who are joining me today, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for checking it out. What's up? Kenji's world. If you don't like, subscribe, all that sort of jazz, do it. Hit those buttons. You know it helps me out. So, how are you? How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Today on Kenji's world. Yesterday I did a big old rant on the nature of the relationship of what we call the external, internal, or just understanding holistic structures and how those metaphors can translate to spiritual development through the physical universe. So that was my revelation there. And today, and from last night, I had a breakthrough moment with how I want to approach my marketing assets in my company. I'm a doer, just a doer. You know, I learn by doing, and I want to be able to facilitate people who have the same affinity that learn by doing and creating that content. So even like this, creating a content, talking about an idea, talking about a topic, and delivering into it was just stuff that I was thinking about. I know it's getting late for me, bedtime soon, but it's more about personal transformation that I'm making, and you know, going through the challenges of life, right? Going through the challenges of life. There seem to be a few conversations today about this and how we go through the challenges in our life and what's the mentality and mindset. If it's all mindset, if it all starts in the mind, then what kind of mindset helps to get through these transitions and these difficult times in life? I was describing to my girlfriend before of how I was out on the property last week, digging a hole, sweating it up, midday. Woo! I can hear my mind that's like, yeah, mate, we're going to push on, bro. We're going to push on. We're not going to let this get the better of us. I was like, for sure, we're not going to let this get the better of us. And the other side of my body is like, I'm going to pass the fuck out. I'm getting dizzy. I'm getting woozy. I was a little bit drunk the night before, so I was like, whoop. I am getting it probably a bit hungover here. That's creeping in. I was getting a little bit sick, and I was, whew. But the pain, there's physical pain, right? Sure, there's physical pain. But physical pain is exacerbated when there is mental conflict of action and thought process. And I see this relationship so much more when it's in times of intensity, when there is a conflict within my mind about a direction of action that I am taking in life. So with the hole as the metaphor, or as an example, I was digging the hole, and I'm digging it, so obviously I've made a dedication to dig this hole. I've made a commitment. I went out there, I've sorted it out, sprayed out the lines, measured this, measured that, and now comes a time to actually do the doing. This revelation disgusts me. I don't know what that bloody animation is called. I'm stealing a line from someone's stick figure animation. It was so funny. It was like a person and a brain talking to each other. And so I think the animation was like one of them. The person was walking up. Also, the brain walked up. Hi. Look at this plan that I made. Ooh, that's a lovely plan. Yeah. Do you like? Yeah, it's really nice. Really nice. Yeah. Something, and then paraphrasing, but it's like, what's the next step? You have to do the thing. And they're like, this revelation disgusts me. But it's the pain of doing the thing, right? It's the pain of doing the thing, and when you start doing the thing, actually, there's a whole different kettle of fish. There's a difference between understanding what a block of chocolate is, reading about what a block of chocolate is, and even smelling what a block of chocolate is. Until you take a bite, you ain't really know what a block of chocolate is. And that's the same thing with the whole, but using it as a metaphor, my gosh, he's falling asleep. But if you are in conflict within your own mind, it's just going to make life challenging. If you've chosen to do something, just do it. Commit to it. Know that that's what you're there for. and, you know, hating and pissing and shitting on it is only going to make things difficult. So I try not to whinge, I try not to moan. I still do, and I still complain in my own right. So I ain't perfect, I'm still not there, but I do notice even when I complain, I'm just making it difficult for myself, right? I'm making it even more difficult. And when I'm looking at time, energy, expenditure, I look at myself every so often and whinging. And look, venting is necessary. I'm not saying don't vent at all. It's very necessary. You need to get things out of your system. If you've got frustrations and issues, let them out. You know, let them out to a loved one, into your journal, into a song, into whatever, however channel you need to be able to deliver that. Do it. But continue to whinge and to continue to bring it back into your life. And just doesn't serve you. Just doesn't serve you for who you are, what you need to be, what you need to become, and things that you need to do right now to move that needle so that you can remove yourself from the suffering. Not elongate time in the suffering. Remove yourself from that suffering. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is a choice. We're removing ourselves from that suffering by changing our mindset, changing our relationship to the phenomena, to the physical experience. We were talking about it before, about Tony Robbins. I quoted, he says, unless you change your physiology, doesn't matter how many times you repeat a mantra, it doesn't change anything. And I believe that's tying into the mind-body connection of, and as acting as an example, I can get a script and I can read it, right? And I've got lines and I'll say my lines. But if I'm saying my lines, but I haven't embodied the lines, then you know as an audience member watching it being like, fucking fake. He doesn't mean it. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know the depth of it. But for me to go through a script and learn, understand where's this person coming from, why is he saying this, why would he do it like this, what's his motivation, where is he at, what are the factors involved, understand, and understand deep enough that I can feel it. It's like up in my noggin, the words will live here, and if I'm not prepared, then I'll be performing from here. But when I start to really embody and understand it, then there's a lot of complexity that you have to go through to get to simplicity, right? I believe everything has a core that is simple, fundamentally simple, but simple because of its divine nature is capable of reaching states of high complexity. I think in its own nature it creates complexity, but fundamentally it's simple. So just like the script, there's so many layers to it. Like I said, understand where, what's going on, how, conditions, circumstance, my mindset, blah, 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 blah. But you go through all this stuff. But fundamentally, you break it down so much, you're actually just looking for a very simple core truth or core value, motivation that you are working from. And once you find that thing, boom, it's almost like you can let go of everything else. Because you know what you're fighting for, you know what you're working towards, you know what the scene's about, you know that these words are there to suffice a certain exchange of ideas and feelings because I'm trying to get somewhere and the other person's trying to get somewhere. But I'm not trying to understand the words, I'm not trying to pick apart all the detail, I'm coming from a very simple place. And so that embodiment, I feel, is to have logical understandings of concepts, but then to continue to break it down and continue to understand it further until the understanding becomes something that sinks in succinctly into the body and becomes an embodied knowledge. And to me, that's when something becomes wisdom. As the Buddha would say, bhavanamaya panya, right? Bhavanamaya panya, lived wisdom. When you truly start to understand it, that's a whole different way of life. So I can understand the concept of being there and committing to something, even though it's difficult. I can understand it intellectually, but if I don't embody it, and embodying it is understanding where that knowledge, wisdom comes from and putting it into a lifestyle practice. What is that phrase? How does that become a verb in your life? How does that become actions and conduct? What does that look like? And when you start living like that, and living like that is keeping your mindset in check, keeping your mind in check so it's not wandering and contradicting you as you are. Because once you're contradicting yourself, that means you're not fully embodied because you still believe theoretically an idea, but your embodiment is still not there yet. You're not completely committed. You're not completely accepting the responsibility, the challenge, the ownership of personal power, the ownership of personal responsibility. There's something there that's missing, because if you do, and I feel, tying it back, I've said it time and time again, that I believe that all ancient wisdom really could be broken down into accepting pain as a gift and as an opportunity to learn. So once you start making that shift and that becomes a truth for you, then fucking bada bang, fucking bada boom, you're a wise cat, huh? At least you're learning. At least we're growing. And to me, I feel that's that. And wisdom, the embodiment of knowledge and understanding is so important. And I talking about it yesterday, about where the human being stands here in the whole grand scheme of the universe, and in terms of our universe, our planet, whatever. AI, tech is all coming in. It's going to take out so many of these operational things that we do as people. But the wisdom, the love, the compassion, we're such loving creatures. And another thing we were talking about is how children, I just watched Children, and it's almost like God's reminder to us time and time again to, first and foremost, because if it's your child, you just love it so effing dearly. Unless you're a crack addict and you're selling the kid, then no, you won't be. But if you love the child dearly, then it's gonna teach you so much about what it means to love somebody, to support somebody, to help somebody grow. And this person's gonna challenge you, because this person's gonna be a mirror of you, your personal characteristics, your good and your bad. The flaws that you see in yourself are going to be just so beautifully mirrored to you through children. And, it's not a machine, right? The humanity, life, it's not a machine. I continuously sometimes call it, the man machine, but it's like, no, it's an organism. It's alive. It's a very, very complex system happening here. But fundamentally simple in my eyes. Fundamentally, if it's just, all you need is love. La da 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 da. All you need is love. La da 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 da. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. Love is all you need. You know what I mean? Simple yet complex. And we are deeply intertwined with each other, whether we like it or not, which makes things simple yet complex. The nature of humanity. And I'm going to leave it at that. Simple thoughts, simple minds. As is usual, Kenji's World. Be love, share love, one love. Be kind to yourself, be kind to those around you. Know that you are powerful. Know that you are capable. And know that you have the capacity to affect change in the world around you. So, good night.